Most people who claim to have seen the Dogman never talk about it twice. They go quiet. Some move towns, some stop sleeping, and some start locking their doors in the daytime. It never begins with a full sighting. It begins with sound, the kind of sound that feels like it's watching you. These are the 7 levels of the Dogman Encounter. Not sightings, not legends, encounters, because once it starts, it doesn't stop at seeing. Level 1, Rustle beyond sight. The first sound is never dramatic, just a shift of leaves, a branch bending when there's no wind, the feeling that something is stepping just out of sight. Hunters call it the double echo, a noise that only follows your steps. You move, it moves. You stop, it waits. It happens in rural borders, the edges of towns that still have a stretch of untouched trees. The sun's not gone yet, but the light's thinning, and that's when the woods begin to sound alive in a way that isn't animal. The silence between the rustles grows too calculated, too patient. It doesn't stalk like a predator. It paces like a man who already knows where you'll end up. People describe feeling pressure in their chest, like the air itself is thickening. Then, just before they leave the tree line, they hear one last step, closer this time. That's the sound most never forget. Level 2, two-legged gait. Most people convince themselves it was a deer, a raccoon, anything normal. But not everyone gets that luxury. You look back, and for a split second, you see something upright. It shouldn't be. It's tall, taller than any man, thin but built like something that runs for miles. It sways as if getting used to its balance, like it just decided to stand that way tonight. Witnesses often describe the same thing. It doesn't walk with purpose. It walks as though it's performing, learning. Its arms hang too low, almost dragging. Its head tilts when it notices you watching, and for one impossible moment, you think it's smiling. Most turn and run. A few stay frozen. Those few always mention the smell, damp fur and copper, like rain mixed with rust. That's the scent that follows you home. Level 3, eye glow through trees. That night, you start to see them. At first, you think they're lights from a car in the distance, but they don't move. 2 small points in the dark, red or white, depending on who tells it. When you blink, they stay. When you look away, they follow. They blink too, but never at the same time as yours. Some have tried taking photos. The eyes vanish in the pictures, leaving only the outline of something large behind them. Branches curved where they shouldn't, shadows bending wrong. Others say the glow doesn't come from eyes at all, but from within its throat, like light leaking through teeth. In old reports from Michigan and northern Wisconsin, police marked those eyes as unverified illumination events. But those same officers never patrolled those woods again. Level 4, bark that doesn't match. You convince yourself it was all nerves. You get home, lock the doors, leave a light on. Then, at some hour after midnight, it starts. A bark. Short. Close. At first it's almost normal, like a stray in the yard. But then it comes again, lower, uneven. It sounds like a recording slowed down, distorted through a human throat. Some say it's trying to copy the sound of dogs, like it knows what they're supposed to sound like, but not why. Witnesses have heard it say single words, half-formed, mangled by growls. One woman in Ohio said it barked her name in 3 broken syllables. She was found the next morning on her porch steps, untouched but staring into the tree line, as if waiting for something to call again. The local station recorded the sound. They destroyed the tape a week later. Level 5, charge and retreat. By now, you've seen it. Not clearly, but enough to know the shape's real. It's close enough for your brain to understand it's not a trick of the dark. It steps out from the tree line, shoulders hunched, the head angled downward like a predator about to sprint. The ground shakes with each step. The snarl starts low, deep in the chest, building until it sounds almost mechanical. Then it runs, faster than anything its size should. You don't have time to think. You flinch, brace, scream, but it stops, always stops, inches away. It doesn't attack, it studies. Then it leans forward, and you hear breathing, deep, uneven, hot enough to fog the air. Some say it smells like wet soil. Some say they heard it whisper. It backs away without turning, still facing you, as if memorizing the look on your face. Level 6, Shapeshift Flicker. After that, nothing feels normal. You start seeing things out of sync. Shadows too tall, figures too still. Sometimes, in reflections, you see something behind you, something that looks human, but the shape keeps twitching between frames, like an image buffering. The face might be yours for a second, then change, long jaw, pointed ears, eyes sunken and wide. There are accounts from as far back as the 1800s describing half-man wolves that vanish mid-stride. In one famous case, a deputy in Kentucky reported shooting a man with glowing eyes. The body shifted into fur, then back into flesh, before disappearing entirely. His report was never filed, but the photographs of the claw marks on his car door were. Some believe the Dogman isn't a creature at all, but a state, a transformation that passes between sight and flesh. Every encounter changes the observer a little more, as though simply seeing it rewrites something inside you. Level 7, Shared Skin. Weeks later, the woods seem quiet. You start to feel normal again. You even laugh about it, telling friends it was probably your imagination. But at night, you wake up to strange details. Your bed smells like dirt. There's hair on your pillow, not from your head, thicker, coarser. Your nails grow faster, and when you clip them, they dull the blade. Sometimes you taste blood without reason. You dream of running, of hunting. You wake up breathless, your hands clawed into the mattress. In mirrors, you look slightly wrong, eyes reflecting light when they shouldn't. When you smile, your jaw feels heavy, like it wants to open too wide. People around you start to notice the smell, that same mix of fur and iron. Dogs bark before you enter a room. And then one night, as you're brushing your teeth, you hear it again. A rustle outside. The same rhythm. You look out the window and see yourself, standing there, watching. That's when you understand, Dogman encounters don't end. They continue through you. They say there are only 7 levels. But that's a lie told by survivors, because they never live long enough to describe the next one. The 8th is when you stop remembering which side of the door you're supposed to be on. When the barks come from inside the house. When your reflection blinks before you do. That's not an encounter anymore. That's inheritance. If you've ever heard a bark that didn't sound quite right, don't call out. Don't record it. Don't answer. Because it's never calling for help. It's calling roll. And if it already knows your name, you're not hearing it from the woods. You're hearing it from under your own breath.